had this whole conversation about how decentralized finance and crypto, and there's a lot of issues, and it can get lost in the wallet, and like there may be a world in which it plays out 2030, and Coinbase is not that big, crypto is not that big, and like crypto and Bitcoin's still at $30,000. I mean, I'm just spitballing it out there. Let's say that happens. If cryptocurrencies do not become the fundamental framework for how our society operates, which means I don't think society necessarily decentralizes, because the decentralized architecture of any product requires a cryptographic scheme to exchange value. If that doesn't happen,
that's not true, by the way, but just so.
Okay. So you would contest that cryptocurrencies aren't necessary for decentralization?
No, I'm saying that, yeah, exactly. Like there are multiple levels to decentralization that have nothing to do with finance, you know. Let me give you an example. Amazon hosts a huge portion of the world's IT infrastructure, right? That's a massively centralized thing.
Yes,
correct?
yes, that's correct. That's correct. Yep.
Right. Now, but what if I marginalized Amazon tomorrow by saying I could push out a huge percentage, like 60% of your workloads, to every device that's out there today? And I don't need Amazon anymore. Think Pied Piper, right? Everyone think Pied. Who's seen Silicon Valley? Come on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, come on now. We all seen Pied Piper, Silicon Valley. That's a huge decentralization. Like to say, I'm going to take 60% of your business, Amazon, and tell you to go fuck yourself, right?
And the way that would happen would be Amazon's cloud would be on a bunch of servers, not just Amazon servers.
No, it means that like I have a mechanism now in which I'm not tied to Amazon. Amazon's just a commodity, and I can check it as a box as to where my workload gets deployed.
Yeah, so Amit, think about it this way. Instead of having all the data processing done by AWS, if you can push majority of that data processing to the edge, which means to that device that's out there, like all the way out there, and literally it does all the calculations and only goes to AWS for a small portion of that data for that compute, what ends up happening is you save a ton of money, because Amazon right now is getting a ton of money by being that central platform.
Yeah.
So it's not that you don't need AWS anymore. You just need a lot less of AWS. You need a lot less of Google Cloud, a lot less of Azure. So that's where Palantir's value comes in to say, look, if we can push this workload to that space, and here's the thing. Technology, especially in the chip side, is becoming better and better and better, which means that the processing power at the edge is actually catching up to something that could be done further away from it. And not to mention from a bandwidth perspective, it makes total sense. Like imagine right now, all that computation that's done at the edge, that means that now you have that super low latency between yourself and your supply, what do you call it, software stack. So all that stuff just ends up being really powerful value creator for Palantir. My only concern when it comes to this for Palantir is how are you guys going to execute and monetize that? How do you justify your business to say, hey, this is how much money we're going to save you if you adopt our product, right? Like right now, it's like, how much money are you getting charged with AWS? Okay, what if we could do the same exact thing? You can run your same applications, everything with the edge, but it'll be 60% cheaper. How much of that revenue can you give me as Palantir?
But so that's not just a cheaper argument. It's not just, I don't want an unelected board member sitting in my fucking board. I don't want to be tied to AWS's terms of service to make sure my business operates.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Right? Like, no, that's not going to happen. We all talk about like Bitcoin and crypto as being some decentralizing force and empowering people. How about we just empower people to not be the slaves of AWS, determining whose workloads can be run and whose workloads can't? And by the way, we'll violate our own terms of service if we don't like you. That's a huge problem, bro. That goes beyond cost. That goes to an existential threat to my business.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is you need right now multi-cloud architecture. So some clouds are better at doing certain things that other clouds are not, right? So you want to have that want that interoperability also. So how are you going to do that? Well, that's why that Sky compute layer is going to be the next big thing, right, Codestrap?
Yep.
So Codestrap, you're not talking about decentralization in terms of like.
Adam here real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Adam, you got it.
Oh my God.
Fascinating discussion.
It was fascinating. I'll tell you why. Like you could see my face. Like it just hit me. I didn't understand what Codestrap was talking about or decentralization. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, let me just try to figure it out. And I had my own views about what Palantir does, right? I figured that they decrease your inefficiency, which in turn makes you more efficient. That was the basic model for me, what Palantir does through Foundry. And now this decentralization, I just got it. It like literally hit me with that baseball bat. You don't need, right? Like you could see it on my face. I'm not making it
Yep,
up.
yep.
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're decentralizing because you no longer need to rely on a central cloud or rely
Yep.
on it so much less, which
Yep.
that's how they're decentralizing you. So they're
Exactly.
decentralizing you in a centralized way still, but you're decentralized because you're not a slave to somebody's cloud or
Exactly.
much less.
Exactly.
And they're not really inventing their own cloud, Palantir. They're inventing a new system altogether, which they're
100%.
Edge
Yep.
AI, which
Exactly.
not only, and now with Apollo, they're allowing you to plug and play into many different clouds. So they're doing mini decentralization, which is then
Yep.
going to lead to full like, again, I'm just doing off the top of my head, but it
Yeah.
like literally just fucked me up so much that
He just had
like,
Alex from Ticker Symbol U. He just had that moment, Codestrap. When you were talking to Alex, that's the same thing that just happened to him.
Totally.
bro,
Totally.
this
No,
company is
minds get
huge.
blown when we start talking Palantir meta, man. It's the metaverse. It's pretty cool.
No, it makes sense. And so to me, you're not talking about decentralization from a pure crypto token perspective.
No, nothing to do with that.
You're talking about it at a much more fundamental level in terms
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
So just GCP, Azure, AWS, you think they're kind of losing bets in the next 10 years to some extent?
No, because they're going to make shit tons of money with what Palantir is doing. I mean, what will happen? Well, this is what will happen. The day every cloud provider can run my workload is the day I run my workload on every cloud provider. They're all going to make money. There's no losers here, which is all the more reason I love this shit, is because it's like, if I'm Amazon, what do I start thinking? Well, I don't need 200 services that are run by 2 pizza teams, meaning like 10 people teams, basically. So, the 2 pizza team means like I can feed the team that runs the service with 2 pizzas or less, right? Well, those 2 pizza teams produce products that are totally subpar. Like you take any product in Amazon, and I can basically show you another product that's a software product, like Cognito versus Auth0 or Okta, or like SageMaker versus Palantir or Databricks. Like there is no product Amazon is offering as a service that is better than a competitor who specializes in that product. What Amazon can focus on is its bread and butter. Offer me the fucking compute and the storage, and that's it, right? That's a win for Amazon. That means it spins off all those shitty things into a separate company that dies in like 2 years, 3 years. That's a net win for Amazon. Same thing for Google. Same thing for Azure. They can stop thinking about like, how do I create a platform to develop shit on? And it's all about how do I run software that's developed somewhere else.
But if they do make less money as a result of that, do you still think they see the...
How are they going to make less money when they're getting every workload? Right now, they're all fragmented, right? Amazon has like 60% of the market. Azure has like 30. Google has like 20. I forget the breakdown. But like now they're all going to get 100% of the market.
Yeah, we're moving
That's
more
a net
and more,
win, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That means the revenue is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, we're moving more and more into the cloud. The only thing is the value proposition is what we're talking about. So
I'm not going to run on one cloud, Amit. I'm gonna pick all 3 because I want redundancy and I want scalability.
So why doesn't Google, Microsoft, and Azure like help Palantir do this immediately if the revenue acceleration is 100?
You try and get 3 people from those companies to agree on any goddamn thing.
Interesting,
right? Like get 4 people in the room, 1 from Palantir, 1 from Azure, 1 from AWS. Yeah, like see if they agree on a thing, just one thing.
They're not allowed to, by the way. That's monopoly right there.
Yeah,
the minute you do that, that's colluding, and that's like a business no-no. That's like Pepsi and Coke getting together and saying, "Hey guys, I have a great idea. Let's raise prices together." No.
And so where does first of all, shout out 185 people in the chat. Awesome, thank you guys for being here. So if Palantir does democratize all of this stuff, what's Palantir's upside here? Like they've created the infrastructure in order for this to go to all 3 of the cloud service providers, and that's the hard part.
They created the tools to allow that to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I mean, fuck. Like, what was the upside potential for Microsoft Excel for Microsoft?
Right.